What y'all eat today?
I had chicken wings and mac and cheese.
Panera bread.
Panera. What's for dinner?
That's for rich people.
My mother-in-law cooked yesterday for Mother's Day, and there's leftovers.
You made her cook? Oh, wait. Was that a volunteer?
Well, first of all, I cooked for my house and she cooked for her house. And we asked all of the men in the house, like, why are we doing the cooking? But they don't know how to cook. So we didn't mind.
I have so many questions. Everyone's household is run differently. I have so many questions.
And then he was like, well, I could take you out to dinner. So, but since his mom cooked and brought the food over, we just stayed home and everybody came over.
Plus home cooking is so much better than a restaurant.
Yeah.
Cooking isn't my ministry, so.
Well, then, you have to know which partner you're with to help complement and smooth that thing out.
Farrell would take me out.
I prayed for that. I was very specific in my prayer when I prayed for that husband, because God knows his child ain't getting in the kitchen. I just do it with my spirit.
Touch
it. You're an island woman. You're an island woman, Shonda. You're supposed to know how to cook.
That's a disgrace.
You know what, Shonda? I'm gonna help hook you up if you're interested. So my parents.
Oh no, she just don't want to cook. I guess he told you.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody, to Talk Miami. I am your host tonight, Cindy Winters, here with the very, very infamous, famous, and crazy crew. Here, TK Owens. How you doing? We got Dr.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Dr. Shonda and Diva here to bring you some kind of information today. I'm so excited for today's episode. We're going to have a lot to talk about. And today's topics, I want you guys in the chat. Please comment. Make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel at Talk Miami Show. And check us out if you have thoughts about last week's show. We'd love to hear from you. You can send us an email at talkmiamishow@gmail.com. We've got quite a few folks watching us now live. What's up, everybody? And co-hosts, go around the room and say what's up to your peoples.
First of all, I see a guest behind Diva B.
I know. I'm trying to move her. She never wants to move.
I love it.
She's like, I want to be live too.
Come live with us, Kitty Cat Scratch.
Well, then I'll start. Hi, I'm Diva B, the one and only.
Hi, everybody. I'm Go ahead, Shonda. Come in.
I am Dr. Shonda Roberts. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in.
And I am TK Owens. Hi, everyone. Good evening.
All right. Thank you so much to my fabulous co-hosts. Every week, each host is going to present and produce a segment. And this week is my week. So I've got a couple of topics to talk about with you guys. I'm so excited to talk about this topic because I feel like we are in a new era. We're in a new phase of the world and a new phase of communication, how we work with each other. And I was going through and I saw this amazing video with Dwayne Wade talking about his daughter, Zaya. And I want to show you guys what I found was impactful. So this is my video here. 1 second.
All the people got something to say about my kids. Boosie. All the people who got something to say. Jay Boogie. I thank you because you're allowing the conversation to keep going forward. Because you know what? You might not have the answer today. I don't have all the answers, but we're growing from all these conversations. So I thank everybody for even hating and starting those conversations, because those conversations are starting other conversations that we need to have and that's happening out there. So I don't hate it. When I'm dealing with people, is I'm dealing with life and death. It's people in the transgender community that are getting killed. It's kids that are murdering themselves. They're hanging themselves. They're killing themselves because you know what? Some symbol is acceptance. Some symbol is unconditional love. It's not being given to these kids. And I'll be damned if my child gonna be that person.
Yes. So he takes a stand as a parent. And as May is Mental Health Awareness Month, we want to make sure that we are taking care of each other. We're having those conversations that open up and sort of bridge a gap between so we can all heal. Friends, what do you guys think?
I'll take a stab at this. First, I want to commend, and I'll be honest with you, I want to commend D. Wade for standing up for his child. That is
Absolutely.
First. I have never had this situation knock on my door. So I can say this. When you have children, you love your children as is. And I do believe if that was what I was, if one of my kids came to me and say, Mom, I want to be transgender, I will have no other choice but to support. That is my child. I'm going to keep it real. I'm not going to say what I want to say just because D. Wade said what he said. I still believe when you are a child, do you really know what you want to be? Now, when my children, and I still say children and they're adult children, once they turn 18 or they kind of figure, they are going into their adulthood and they know what they want, I will support them. But I still challenge when a child who was 8 years old and when he even came out at 11 years old, do they really know what they want at their age? And is it our duty as a parent to based on your religion or based on whatever you want in your house, is it the parent's responsibility to still steer them in a different direction? I'm gonna be honest. I will still have that conversation with my kids if they were 9 or 11 years old. But once they are grown and they have made their decision, I will support them.
Yes, it's difficult. It's a difficult road to navigate as a parent. I can't imagine. I don't have children. I'm an educator, but I don't have a day-to-day, I don't parent from day to day. But I had a question to parents, what do you do if your child needs that type of support that takes you out of your comfort zone? And I just really wanted to get your take on it and our audience at home, what you guys think in a situation like this. And even so, it can be this particular topic, or if your child is asking for support in a very different way, emotionally, financially, what does that look like for you? If as a parent, what they're asking for takes you out of your comfort zone. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
So I can actually jump in because I live and breathe from this experience. Not that I ever was thinking of being transgender, but being a gay man, I knew when I was 8 years old, I'll be honest with you. So when TK was saying, how does a child know at such a young age? I knew when I was 8. And the reason I knew was because when my next door neighbor was playing with Barbies and her older brother was out running, playing with the football, I hung out with the sister playing Barbies. I knew what I thought was attractive at that time. It's a lot easier also when a parent accepts their child. Now, granted, you're not going to approve of everything your child does, but as a parent, when I was 16, I came out, and it was very traumatizing for me because I had a best friend at the time who she happened to be found out through a phone conversation. Her parents were actually listening into a phone conversation between me and her, and they were a Haitian family. And when they found out, it was you're going to burn in hell. We hate you. You're grounded, the whole thing. So when I came out to my mom, I was terrified. And my mom flat out told me, you were my answer to my prayers. She's like, I don't care if you had one eye, if you were green, purple, yellow, black, white, anything, you were my answer to my prayer. And by having a parent or a parental unit accept you for whatever you may be, gay, lesbian, trans, it helps the process. And as Dwayne Wade said, there are kids out there that they don't have that support system. And their first response is, I'm going to take my life. So as a parent, you really have to think, do you love your kid enough to, even if you don't agree with their lifestyle, do you love them enough to just accept it? Or do you not love them enough? And then when they die from suicide, then it's, well, I should have been, or I should have done. You know, there could have been no shoulda, woulda, couldas. Love your child no matter what. Sex, age, religion, whatever. You have a child for a reason, you know? So to me, by my mother accepting me when I was 16, life turned out so much more beautifully than I thought if she hadn't accepted me, you know?
Yeah.
And she better
Dr.
be watching
Shonda?
too right now. That's all I gotta say.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, Mom.
I have so many different feelings and agreeing and things that I agree about and things I disagree about. Being a parent, being someone who works with kids on a on a daily basis. There's a lot of different feelings that I have because this world is so cruel, right? There's so much evil in this world, and you try to, as much as you want to, you try to protect your children from the evils of this world. But no matter what, they have to experience some things, and there's things you can't protect them from. But though that has always been a fear, not necessarily a fear, but if that ever came, because I had a brother that came out, and when he did, I was like, child, I knew. He was like, what you mean? I said, I knew. I said,
My mom
but I
did
love
too.
you. But I had lost my brother. I had lost another brother previously, and his death devastated me. So I would never want to put my other brother in a situation where he felt like his sister didn't support him, and now he's, going to take his own life. His family doesn't support him. So I knew. And TK, I get what you're saying. And I even though I saw my brother, I just knew from growing up, he didn't want to play football. He didn't want to do all those things. And I thought maybe he was just gay because he was raised around women, some of those dumb things we think about. But learning and growing as I became an adult, I realized that he knew back then. And when I think back, I knew as well. And so when he told me at 19, it wasn't a surprise. I was waiting on you to say something, but I knew already, and he felt like there's a sigh of relief that came from him. You know what I mean? But then he's not my child. As a parent,
That's what I wanted to ask you, Shonda.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
As a parent, that's a completely different feeling. And I don't know. Like I don't have an answer for that, so I'm not even going to touch that. But I did see. I was watching Walker and Tammy. I don't know if y'all watched that show, but there's an episode where a lot of the episodes, her daughter has come out. I don't know if she's bisexual, but she's bisexual, and she has a issue with the girlfriend. Now 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds going to these little fights with their boyfriend and girlfriend, right? So she's there, that situation where the girlfriend is arguing with her. Her mom got upset and said, "What you doing crying about a little girl? You making this girl making you cry." And I can't stand that. So I felt so bad for the little girl because she went to her mom for emotional support, and her mom shut her down. And when we shut our kids down, who are they going to?
Right.
They're going to these friends who don't know any better. They're going to the streets to find the answers. And we have to make sure we take our feelings out of the situation in order to help them. When I tell my kids all the time, when you got to tell me something that you think I'm going to either pop off about or be emotional about, give me a warning. Mom, I need to talk to you. When they say that to me, I check myself. I said, okay, this may be something I don't want to hear, but I got to get it together so I can be there for them no matter what they need to tell me. So that's just how I prepare myself as a parent. Now, I may cry and fuss when they walk out the room, but I need to be there for them emotionally because you never know what the situation is and how they need you to be there for them. They need us to be there for them emotionally
Mhm.
and physically. But I mean, emotionally, so that they don't go to the, wanting to attempt suicide phase. They need to know that we love them unconditionally, no matter what.
Absolutely.
And that's an
Absolutely.
interesting, yeah, absolutely. That's an interesting. I wanted to get your perspective specifically as you work with youth and you work with youth who are experiencing homelessness and who are coming from situations that are dire in many ways, and also that there are kids who grow up in normal households who struggle with have similar struggles, approval and that sort of idea of feeling comfortable in their own home and being able to get that level of support from parents. And I commend D Wade and Gabrielle and D Wade's partner and Zaya's mom, who also have all band together to support this young lady through her time. I actually had the privilege of making an appearance at Zion's birthday a few years ago as Nala, when D Wade and Gabrielle set up a birthday party for them at the American Airlines Arena back in 2012. So I have high respect for that family, and I think that they are groundbreaking in their journey in talking about very uncomfortable issues. So big up and kudos. Thank you all so much for your opinions. Again, my friends at home, family at home, if you have thoughts, please make sure that you're putting them in the chat. We're going to highlight your comments right here on the show. And with that, I'd like to bring our next topic up with Diva B dishing the dirt. Diva B, look at that face.
Look at that face.
Boom.
Get the hair flip, honey.
Get that hair flip.
So, well, this evening, as I mentioned on my Facebook post, I don't have any real dishing dirt to do. So I wanted to throw in a wrench in the system this evening. And what that wrench is a little subtle disagreements between some of my friends. And what that is, are you over or under? And what I mean by that is, I'm talking about the toilet paper roll.
Oh no.
And I want to know how y'all roll. Okay? So
no.
I personally am an over kind of girl. But I do know some friends that are under kind of girls and boys. I want to hear from my co-hosts what they think about over and under. And then I'm going to actually give you the scientific reason as to why one is better than the other. So, ladies.
Well, first of all, you have to tell my family to put the toilet paper on the roll to have a decision. Before we even get to a decision, let's try to get the toilet paper on the roll. Then maybe I'll have an answer for you next time. But okay. I honestly, I don't pay attention to it. It doesn't matter to me. I just put it on there. To me, it doesn't matter. But I know people are really anal about that, but it doesn't matter to me.
Cindy or TK?
I see Cindy mouth.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cindy.
So sweaty. I used to like under.
Yeah.
But I got so much pressure from most people in my life that they're more overs. Yes. That to avoid conflict, because I'm a Pisces, I just consciously set it over, and then I deal with any sort of over spinning as toilet paper hits the ground, and I stress.
Yeah.
But I don't want any problems. Okay.
I want to highlight this comment. My husband just said under. Sir, you do not put the toilet paper on the roll. How do you put on? How you gonna comment on this live and say under, Mr. Roberts?
Uh-oh.
Go, George. You tell her.
I'm starting disagreements.
Oh my gosh. I think he's telling his truth, Shonda.
Absolutely. For me, and it's just because I want everything done right, I prefer over. Right. Thank you. I prefer over. It has a better look. I feel like when it's under, it's wrong. Mm-hmm. However, However, for some reason, Diva B, I think you're going to tell us under because maybe it rips easy, maybe easy when it's under. But I prefer over, and I actually will go around questioning who put this toilet paper under. So it better be over in this house just for looks. But I don't know what's considered right. What's
I tell you,
right?
well, according to you, TK, over is right. But now I've worked with TK. Okay, TK's owned a dance studio in Miami, Florida, and those dance studios have toilets.
Yes.
And so you are a part of my my distrigger journey that I go on. I do believe that it rips easier. It just makes sense. But we have our friends here. Jelani Remy says team under. Thank you, boo.
Thank
and
you.
Ben Williams says team over. And we'll have a discussion about that later.
So I'm gonna tell you two things. One, in the hotel business, because that's where I came from, it is over in the hotel business. So when you put it over, it's so that it's presented nice with a little triangle and so on. Now, scientifically, I have done the research, and scientifically, they say the proper way is also to go over. And the reason for that is when you are preparing to do the deed and you reach for the toilet paper, your hand has the potential of brushing up against a dirty wall that countless other people have also put their germs and bacteria. So they say that it being over actually is more sanitary. So me and Team TK, girl, we are on the over side.
I got TK thinking she was right.
This is not the type of reinforcement she needs.
Right.
Della Hobby says off the roll is how she rolls. So
yes, honey.
All right, Della.
I'm gonna ride around with toilet paper in my car just to say I was right.
And it's scientifically proven. So
full disclosure, I roll around with toilet paper in my car.
Hey, you never know when you gotta go.
Miami traffic is no joke.
Cindy, why you got toilet paper in your car?
The same reason why everyone should have toilet paper in their car in case emergencies.
That's right, honey. Because when you got to go, you got to go.
We're gonna
and on that topic, I'm gonna switch to my real next quick topic that I wanted to ask how y'all felt about, because we have some other fabulous things to keep moving forward with. But the second question that I wanted to pose to you this evening is when you're dating somebody, you meet that special guy, that special girl, and you're trying to be romantic and you're at the restaurant and all of a sudden you got to pass gas and you hold it in. My question to y'all is, when you've been together for a year or 2 years after that, is it acceptable to then just let it go? So do you fart or not fart? And is your first kiss really what makes the relationship, or is it the first fart?
Well, I can't think back that far because we've been together 20 years now. I don't know when the first time I passed gas in front of him. But now, honey, we be having passing gas contests. There's no.
So you get to that stage in life.
When you've been together 20 years, ain't no shame. Like, there's nothing else that, we could or not do in front of each other. My husband had a whole procedure. He had a whole bullet in his stomach and I pulled it out. So there are things that we've had, there's the things that we just do now. It's normal. And he had surgery. I did it. So it doesn't matter anymore. Now, we don't use the toilet. We don't do the number 2 in front of each other. Like, that's just a no. And I don't think I'll ever be okay with that. But the passing gas, shall we be in the bed just Putin?
Oh my God.
I think we need to show what Mr. Roberts actually said.
Did he say?
Better slide to the side. Lift that left cheek. You know what, George?
Inappropriate.
You know what, George?
I hope everyone's children are in bed by now.
Listen, please take my husband comment off. When you are dating your best
not
friend,
real until the first fart.
Okay.
Wait, say it again, Sydney. I'm sorry.
He said, Ben Williams said, it's not real until the first fart. Because you're only a representative up until the first fart.
Yeah,
right.
Whether it is intentional or accidental,
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna
Well,
happen.
I think this conversation also goes back to what we were just talking about with Dwayne Wade and his child. When you fully love somebody, you take them for their stinkies. You take them whether their toilet paper is over
It's
or
true.
under, and you love them unconditionally.
Bring it all
Can
together.
I get an
Diva B.
amen and a diva hair flip? Because I'm out.
Yes.
Amen. Yes, Jay Rome said fart freedom is key to a healthy relationship.
Absolutely.
Jay.
I have a little, okay, first of all,
Look at this one.
She's never farted.
I've never farted in front of Pharaoh intentionally. And even we've been together this long, I still, guys, don't laugh at me. I just hold it in or I go to the bathroom.
Oh, girl, my stomach can't handle that.
But wait, I'm about to tell you what he told me. He said, boo, please. He said, you be farting in your sleep.
The truth will come out.
That it will come out
The
one
truth
way
will
or
come
the
out.
other.
Listen, so either way, it's going to come out. So I just let it go in my sleep. And he's so used to it. He
Healthy
just farts around
relationship.
me all the time. So
Well,
I
Diva
don't
B,
even say, excuse me.
well, you know, I'll just say my 2 cents, and then we have to keep the show moving because we have a special guest coming up. And Diva B, my stomach can't handle all that. Okay. And as a woman speaking, my stomach cannot handle it. You just have to let fart be free wherever you be,
Yeah,
because that's what my daddy told me.
there you go.
There it is.
Thank you so much, Diva B, with the dirt for today. And this is going to lead us. I want to give a shout out to all of our friends. Thank you so much for your hilarious comments. And if you guys have thoughts and ideas that you want us to talk about, please make sure you hit us up at talkmiami@gmail.com. We would not be able to do this without you. So make sure that you guys are sending us your notes and your comments. We read them. We take them into account, and we're so excited to continue to come up with topics that you want to talk about. I want to talk about, before we bring up our next guest, I would like to preface that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. We are highlighting our community, how we can help build each other, how we can have uncomfortable conversations and continue to thrive in our world, and especially in this new virtual world, you know, how we can find more ways to connect and be there for one another. Our special guest today, I'm so excited to be have him on the show today. He is a former NFL fullback. He's played for the Dallas Cowboys, Kansas City Chiefs, Minnesota Vikings, and the New York Jets. He was signed to the Cowboys as an undrafted free agent in 1994, and he played through 2010. I am so thrilled because I had the pleasure of being on a panel with this amazing man last week for a high school. Big shout out to Chris Masters, because I see you are watching for another event. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tony Richardson. Yay! Hi, Tony. Thanks for coming and being on the show with us.
Hey, you know what? I was sitting in the waiting room, and that last 2 questions were pretty pretty right on. So my anxiety levels calmed down a little bit. So thanks, Diva B, for those great conversation starters.
But truly,
yeah,
over or under?
You know what? My dad was in the military, so everything to my closet being organized to cleaning my baseboards with a toothbrush on Saturdays, the toilet paper has to be over, and it has to be at a point, like at the hotel. So Diva B knowing he's talking about from the hotel industry. So yeah, that's not right to do it under. You can't do that.
Dang, I'm just gonna be a renegade out here. I'm just gonna be silently rebelling every time I put that toilet paper on the overside. I'm be like, but it should be under though.
Right.
See, there's no bullying here, and everyone's acceptance. This is what we're about.
Yeah.
Mental health is about acceptance and
you.
inclusion. So we include you, Sydney.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That way she's not cursing me to hell with, look where he started.
Oh, Tony, thank you so much for being on the show with us today. We want to just have your thoughts where you are. Very first special guest. guest. And I couldn't be more thrilled to have someone like you who on the show with us tonight. But I want to get into this topic about mental health and how we can be there for one another. But I want to talk about Will Smith. Will Smith, our dear friend. And when I say dear friend, we don't know each other. He posted on his Instagram a photo of him charging his other people in his community, the male community, to get fit and get right for the summer, or it's time. And this is what he posted.
Oh.
I thought that was
You
me
know.
in the top left. I thought that was me in the top left. I was like, hold on.
So did they got
Yeah,
you
like,
down?
wait a minute.
No shame.
Out
Okay,
here,
then.
Tony. And I know, as a former athlete, we think about our appearances. I'm in the entertainment industry. You always have to be on a level of health and wellness. You and I had lunch the other day, and while our friends were having nachos, you and I were having a salad that is intentional. And even a person that is my size and a person of your size, we're having the same meal. But it was really interesting to see Will Smith put himself out there, be vulnerable, right? And talk about how he loves his body. He has this body. He's in his 50s now, and he wants to encourage other men in the industry to take care of themselves and kind of support them in that way. So tell us a little bit about what your journey is with, how you are able to stay physically fit even after retirement, and then also how you deal with your mental health as an athlete.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you guys so much for having me tonight. I feel very honored and special, especially since we're dealing with Mental Health Month. And so for me personally, it's kind of one of those things you think about. We are always so concerned about our appearances and different things like that. And especially now more than ever, with the invention of that wonderful thing called a cell phone and the internet, it can really affect you. Because even for me, like I'll pick up social media and I look on Instagram and everyone's driving a Ferrari, everyone's driving a Porsche, everyone lives in a 15,000 square foot home. And it's like, and I think our younger people lose themselves because they think like, oh, I have to be, if I'm a woman, I have to be 110 pounds and I have to look like this person, or a man, I have to have an 8-pack and all those things. And so I think, and I actually do know Will a little bit. And I think the message he was sending out was like, it's okay to be vulnerable. And it takes a lot for a mega star like that to go up and show the dad bod and just understand that people are going to have comments. Even for myself, like, I post different things on Twitter or on Instagram, and there's always those 10 to 15 people who just want to tear you down, tear you down, tear you down. And so, you think about your physical appearance. I think he's really stressing your mental awareness as well, because I think, sometimes we get so caught up in how we look versus like how we feel. And it's okay to say we're not okay. So, my mental health journey is, I'm on a journey, and that's the thing I admit, and I love it. And I say it all the time. I have a therapist. I don't know where I'd be in my life without a therapist. And I talk to my fellow teammates or former teammates, and I say, as much as we go lift weights, build up our biceps, and we squat and build up our legs, what are we doing for our mental health? And so for me personally, the journey I'm on now is I work with an organization called MVP, and it's merging vets and players. And so it's former combat veterans and former athletes. Some guys are actually still active, and we do what's called a huddle. And so initially it's a 30-minute workout. We do it over Zoom. And then we get in a huddle, and some, like in LA, the gym is called Unbreakable, and there's probably 40 to 50 athletes and combat veterans. And then we're over Zoom, and we get in a huddle, and just like we're doing now, and we just talk, and we just share. We talk about, our wins in our lives. We talk about our things that we're struggling with, because we realize that, yeah, we all did something at the highest level, but what do you do when that uniform comes off? And so in the military, as well as in the fight world, because we have professional fighters, we have, athletes. Lindsey Vonn is part of our group. So all of a sudden it's like, you're up here, and the day you walk off that field, or the day you take that Army helmet off, it's like the worst divorce or the worst crash. And so we jump in the huddle and we talk and we support each other, because, as a man, a lot of times we don't share our emotions, and you definitely don't call your boy up like, oh man, I had a tough day, and just start crying. You're like, whoa, well, I'll do that to my boys. They know if I'm calling, I'm gonna call and I'm gonna let it go.
Mhm.
So, it's just one of those things, just like working on your mental health and just understand that this life is a journey, and you do not have to go on this journey by yourself, and you can't go on this journey by yourself. And it's funny, after I do the huddle, and it's like things I'm dealing with or things I'm struggling with, and just knowing, even if there's 100 people on the call, just every time I share, they're taking a little bit of my burden off. So now I'm unpacking my stuff, and then you feel so much better. You want to smile, you want to laugh, versus, as Dwayne Wade said, unfortunately, we see a lot of our athletes and entertainers and people get pushed into a wall, and unfortunately they take their lives. And that's one thing we always say: don't be the one. Talk about it, talk it out. Let somebody support you. In sports, they tell you, if you break a finger, just keep playing. You scuff your knee up, keep playing. But in life, you can't keep building those scars up, because that scar tissue builds up, and eventually it's going to come out, and sometimes it doesn't come out in positive ways.
Right.
Mr. Richardson, I have so many questions, but I know we have don't have much time. But I am also I am a survivor of domestic violence, and I also talk to women, men, children about domestic violence and the dangers of domestic violence. And then I also, where I talk to survivors about what to do after, because people feel like once you leave the relationship that you're good, you're done, and that's so not the truth. Because the truth, now you have to learn how to live out of that normalcy that you had before. Now you have a new normal where it's trying to live healthy, trying to not go back to that situation, because we know there's trauma bonding. And so there's a lot of that happens with domestic violence survivors. So my question is, I suffer from PTSD. I've been out of that relationship over 20 years, and I still have things that people can't do or say to me that causes a trigger. How do you help the men that I don't necessarily? How do you help men that deal with that? Because domestic violence also affects men, and a lot of men that we find don't speak about it. They don't say it. They won't say that they're being abused. There are some men that were raised right and won't put their hands on women, and then and there are some that don't care, and there are some that are victims and they refuse to talk about it because they're so embarrassed. How do we help? How do I, as an advocate, help those men to speak out about it, to be not afraid about it? How do I make them comfortable and let them know it's okay? Because that's the biggest obstacle I have being an advocate.
Yeah, it's actually a very good question. And I gave the link to my sister, and she may be on. I can't see the backside. So my sister, my dad did 32 years in the military, Vietnam veteran, Purple Heart. My sister did 28 years, 4 deployments. And it's funny you asked that question, because her last 2 years, as she was transitioning out, she was working with domestic violence victims. And believe it or not, there's more men who have been abused by women in power than you would ever think on the other shoe. So
Yeah.
I talk to her and I lean on her, because it's funny, like, you don't think about that the things that the men have to go through. And the biggest thing that she shares is more just talking about it, because if you bottle it up, it's coming out at some point. And like you said, we always talk on our calls about triggers, and just understanding, like, how do you go to your breath? Because there's times, and even for me, just like, driving here in New York City, and somebody wants to cut you off in traffic, and they want to try you. And I'm just like, look, I'm still a football player and I still got that mentality, but you know what? I can't do that. I can't do that, because that comes with a price. And so it's, number one is support groups. Just like, people go to support groups for Alcoholics Anonymous. We have a lot of veterans who are, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years sober, and they know, and they always admit, hey, I'm an alcoholic. These are the things that I've been through, but I want to continue to keep talking about it. And I also realize you can't do it on your own. So I think, to answer your question, I think the biggest advice is just to tell someone that it's okay to still have those feelings, and it's okay to say I'm not okay, but just realize that the more you share, the better you're going to be. And it's not going to be a process that happens overnight. It's something we're going to have to deal with. Like the trauma I experienced, I was bullied when I was a kid. And now I'm, 49 years old, and, I don't get bullied anymore just because I have a little bit of muscles. But just the fact that the things that happened to me when I was a child, they still affect me even to this day. but it's more the more I can talk about it and share it and say that these things still bother me. That way, when that person that pulls, tries to get me to react in the car, I just have to go to my yoga breath. It's just breathe and understand that that person's not worth. It's not worth it. And
That's the main thing. People need to be honest, and
you have to.
even dealing with the kids that I work with, that's the main thing I tell them. Tell us what's wrong. Be honest about it. So thank you.
By the way, you don't look a day over 26, Mr. Richardson. Okay.
Hey, listen,
Hashtag just saying.
We all been behind these digital cameras now. They got all kind of filters. They got all kind of stuff.
Oh, is that what it is? I need a tutorial.
Yeah. Tony, I would love to ask you a question. I heard you say that you have a therapist and you don't know what you would do. That is I'm just going to say it, in the Black community is such a stigma that we just were taught, that's for crazy people, or don't do that, or that's for the weak. Let's start normalizing healing. Let's start normalizing having conversations. I heard you say that you were bullied as a kid. Was this a learned behavior that maybe your parents took you to therapy, or did it take you to be an adult for you to say, maybe I need to get some help?
No, it took me to be an adult, because, as a football player, you're supposed to be big and you're supposed to be strong and you're supposed to be tough. And as a kid, they tell you like, oh, men can't show emotions. Like, what are you doing crying? You're not supposed to cry. And even on the standpoint of the mental health aspect, in football, I know for a fact there was a lot of guys that I played with, and they were like, oh man, leave him alone. He's crazy. Like that. When I hear stuff like that, that drives me up the wall, because versus saying, you know what? Mental health is mental health. We all have it, regardless if it's positive or negative, and we have to talk about it. And so, for me, it took me to become an adult and just realize, like, I can't carry this weight, because you have just pressures of life, like responsibilities. You have family. You have during the pandemic, I think I lost close to 9 people who were really close to me.
Wow.
How do you deal with that?
Wow.
Unless you talk, unless you share. Because it's like, okay, I can't travel. I can't go to this funeral. Can't go see your mom. She's sick because of COVID. It's like all these different things. And if you don't start unpacking your luggage, because we all have baggage. We talk about that all the time. If you don't unpack it, you're carrying these weights around, all day, every day. So it took me in my adult life. And I wish this was something I would have started before I even came into the National Football League, because, my parents couldn't tell me what the pressures were going to be like. Everyone says, "Oh, you got money. Oh, you don't have any problems." Like as the song says, more money, more problems. So it's just, it took my adult life to realize that there were things that were affecting me in my adult life that happened in my childhood.
We actually need more people with platforms like yourself, Mr. Richardson. I'm going to tell you why. From somebody, I have my own mental health issues, of which people that I follow are watching right now. So we ain't gonna go through all that right now. But even watching the nightly news this evening, 413 people were shot this weekend alone. From mass shootings to people just opening fire, they even opened fire in Times Square, which is like supposed to be the peacefulest place on the planet, and it all boils down to mental health. This thing of the people kill people, I think it really, really is a topic that needs to be discussed more. Not even on just your platform, but even on the government platform, because a lot of people out there are hurting, and like you said in one of your statements, it's okay to not be okay. Out of 7 days a week, I'm not okay for 4 of them. So trust me, I totally understand what it's not like to be okay. So I truly, truly appreciate you speaking about it, because we need more people with the reach that you have. And that's why when the 3 girls asked me to be part of this talk show, I really saw an opportunity where guest speakers like yourself can come and really hit the home run, So I truly appreciate you coming on this evening. And a lot of what you said in your segment really hit home for me. So, and I didn't cry without saying that. And I'm a Pisces, go figure. So, but I thank you for that. So
you need to cry. This is a safe space.
Yeah, that's one thing that Sydney and I talked about, is just like the work, and I don't consider it work, but we have to tell our stories, because everybody in life has something. Everybody's been through some kind of trauma. Everybody's been. And they think like, oh, Sydney's, she's an incredible actress. and hear a football player, oh, you guys don't have any problems. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah. It's just the fact that we're just, in life, we just, we know how to act and we know how to mask our problems. But the more and more we can sit down and have honest conversations like that. And that's what D Wade said in the opening, was that he welcomed the hate, because when the conversation has started. Right. And, even when we're, going through Black Lives Matter and, having some of my neighbors kind of uncomfortable, like, man, I don't know what to say. And we went up to the rooftop and had a bottle of wine and we just talked, and then it got a chance. They said, thank you so much just for sharing, because we don't understand that perspective, but the conversation starts. And once you get the conversation started, it just opens up the door and it takes those weights off your shoulders, and just realize you don't have to go on this journey of life by yourself.
That's good.
Well said.
Good.
Well said.
Beautifully said.
Absolutely.
Before we let you go, Tony, if you know or have any resources that maybe some of our listeners and friends could recommend to go toward, maybe feel free to share that.
Yeah, I was going to share the National Suicide Hotline, which I do not have in front of me. I probably should have had it. But a lot of people always ask me, what are some of the things that I do for my own personal mental health? So I would say, number one is to find a therapist, or find someone, as Dr. Roberts said, like, have someone to talk to, because young people feel like, oh, I'm getting bullied, I can't go tell my parents. Don't go tell your parents, tell your teachers, tell someone. If you feel like there's days, like I know for a fact there was days during the pandemic, I got a 3-legged furry friend that helped me tremendously, just having someone here when the walls feel like they're closing in on you. And we talked about, Sydney and I, when we did the panel last week, like, when your friends call you, hey, pick up that phone, because, just that voice of familiarity or comfort can help you, and realize that you don't have to go through this alone. But for me personally, I'm big into yoga, so I always try to get my yoga and my meditation.
I do yoga too.
I know. I love cycling. I actually went cycling today, just because it's my time to get on that bike and just go.
Why would you bring that up?
Yeah,
we're in front of company. Tony and I have a history about cycling.
We cycle in private.
We don't talk about it.
Oh, see, I wouldn't.
He's a big cycler.
See, I didn't. Yeah, but yeah, I see you posted the National Suicide Hotline. I think that's incredible. But just understand, we don't have to go on this journey of life alone, and it's okay to take people along with you. It's a beautiful thing.
Thank you so much, Tony Richardson, for being with us tonight
Great
on Talk
guest.
Miami. You are an inspiration. I'm
Yes,
so
you are.
inspired by you and all the work that you do in your philanthropy post playing, because I think the journey doesn't stop when you stop playing. It just begins in another form. You're just playing a different game now. And I really appreciate your perspective. And thank you for talking with us here at Talk Miami.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you real soon.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, everybody. Wow. Thank you
Take a
so
deep
much,
breath.
Tony Richardson. We can
Yeah.
all take a deep breath.
Yeah.
And you guys, I was like so inspired. It was
Yes.
really just hard for me to like pay attention to all the chat, because I was like so engaged.
Yeah. But really hit home.
Really,
On
really.
more notes than anybody could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And as we continue to get to know each other, you'll learn more about who I am as a person.
Right.
But really, really hit home.
Especially with what all is going on in the world. We all know 2020 was challenging for everyone. I don't think there was one person who didn't feel, what 2020 brought to all of us.
Absolutely.
And definitely we have to start normalizing to just therapy, counseling. It's okay to be, not to be okay, and just to get help. And you can just speak to someone, even if you don't go to counseling. You have a friend that you should. I call Sean, Dr. Shonda. I call you every week, don't I?
I call you right on back, girl.
You have
Guess
to
what?
you have to get it out, and
Yeah.
so it's just healthy for your mental health. So
Absolutely. Some people during times of emotional struggle, they retract. Some people lean in. During the pandemic, I leaned in. I was the person like thinking to myself, how can I make this normal? I got to call somebody to make sure that they're around. See how they're doing, hear about their lives. So, we all have our ways of doing it. And some people are talkers and some people are listeners. And you continue to reach out when that phone rings, pick up And if you feeling like you're going backwards, lean in and pick up the phone and call someone. If there is no one around in your community that can help you, feel free to call that suicide hotline. They do more than talk about suicide. If you just need an ear to talk to, they'll be there for you as well.
If not, you can call Shonda Roberts at number
Yeah.
305.
And
No,
on
I'm just
that
kidding.
note, we're going to head over to Shonda Roberts Community Corner. Dr. Shonda, what do you have for us today?
Well, good evening again, beautiful peoples. Tonight I will be highlighting, I'm gonna say highlighting because this is my girl, Jennifer. She's married now, so now it's Jennifer Logan, but we call her J-Lo. And J-Lo is the founder of an organization by the name of Love versus Cancer. So Jennifer is, so something to say about her. I'm trying to wrap it up in 2 minutes. So she's also, I believe she just got a job as an assistant principal. So let's give her some snaps on that. But she has been an educator for years. And I know she had to stop due to her illness previously. But now she is back to doing what she loves with her kids. So I'm going to read a little bit about her organization and let you know how you can support her. Love versus Cancer was founded by Jennifer Lowe Lockett to assist, Jennifer Lowe Lockett, now Logan, to assist individuals battling various forms of cancer through love and support. As a love offering, individuals struggling to meet the demands of their day-to-day lives due to the financial and physical constraints caused by cancer can receive assistance with goods and services. Some of our many offerings include custom wigs, wearable lashes, self-care assistance, and therapy for healthcare. We also provide financial assistance with utilities, housing costs, and miscellaneous expenses. So if you all want to support her organization, you can do so by sending an email to love vs cancer 80@gmail.com. The website is lovevscancer.org. I just put up her Cash App information, which is $L080. I don't know how I met Jennifer. Now that I think about it, I don't remember, but
Universe
she
brought
has
you
been in my
together.
life for so long that now it seems like we've been there forever. I call her randomly and check on her. She does the same for me. I love her to pieces. She's a soul that doesn't even look like she's going through anything because she does not let cancer define her situation. Right now, I want y'all to keep her in prayer because she is currently battling stage 4 cancer. And as I feel like my tears are coming, sorry. She will be mad if I'm crying because she won't cry. She doesn't cry about it as much. And she's all for living. And I just want her to know that I support her and I want her to get better because we need her spirit in this world. So, Jennifer, thank you for doing what you do. And we love you.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Shonda. Thank you so much. My friends at home, if you have a business or an organization that you would like highlighted here on Talk Miami, feel free to send us an email at talkmiamishow@gmail.com. We'll do our best. We will highlight your organization. If there's a person you just want to give a shout out to, if there's a birthday you want to shout
Hi,
out.
Jennifer.
Hey, Jennifer. She's watching.
Jennifer's joining us.
Yes.
Prayers up for you, Jennifer.
Prayers up.
I'm sorry,
Prayers
friend.
up.
I don't know where those tears came from. I'm so sorry.
Those were my tears that I didn't shed in the last
I
segment.
know, you sent them to me.
Yes, honestly. So, my friends, we're nailing it tonight.
Yes.
I will say the energy is high, the vibes are high. What did you all think of the show? I am so. Feel free to flood our chat with your comments. I want to take a look at some of what our friends have said.
Yeah.
Lakima Renee says, "Get her, Jen." Dr. Shonda,
Everybody
you know
knows I'm
why.
a water bag. I am.
You know why. We had some really great topics that we talked about today. Mental health awareness, love versus cancer, providing support. There was something that I wanted to bring up about as a resource. for parents who have children in the LGBTQIA community, or if you want to learn more language about the LGBTQIA community. And that is a dictionary called The Queen's English. It is written and created by Chloe O. Davis, and it is a dictionary that defines terms as well as parts of speech, real life examples, how to use the terms in a sentence, quick synonyms for the terms, historical references, and or information that contribute to understanding of the term or phrase. Many times we don't realize that some of the words that we use in the English language are from the LGBTQIA community.
Mhm.
You know,
Well,
when
my
your
community
eyebrows,
starts it all, honey.
okay, when your eyebrows are on fleek, who did that?
Wait,
With the Vogue.
can I ask Diva B a question? So what is the I and the A in that? I think I know with the Q, I kind of stop after that LGBTQ. What's the I and the A? Sin?
We're gonna have to get you the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to get
I
you
would
the
say
book.
the
educate
I.
myself.
I would say the I is important, and the A is for awesome.
Boom.
I guess.
Yes. There you go.
There you go.
End of story. And then the plus is just plus, honey.
Plus, because they'll
All the
add
way
some
up.
more laters, more
Yeah,
letters
we'll
later
add
down
more
the road.
later, and then anything is just excellence all the way up. So.
Yeah,
There it is.
exactly.
We'll all get a copy for our panel, and then definitely we'll have Chloe O. Davis on the show as well. I'm a big fan of. She's a dancer choreographer in New York, and she's been on Broadway and other shows. And she's an ally and offering this community a voice. So big shout out. And if you guys want to check out the dictionary, you can find it on Amazon. And this, you guys, I'm so moved by today.
Yes.
I think we
love
need a whole hour just on
Yes.
mental health because I had so
Yeah.
many questions. I'm like, let me just, I don't want TK to
Yeah.
talk to me offline and
What
tell
did
me how I wasn't
Oh
on time.
my gosh, I'm sure Tony would have loved to
Yeah.
address whatever questions you had.
Yeah,
He's
it
an
was
amazing
good.
man.
Oh,
Yes.
actually,
Awesome.
so the I stands for intersex, which
Oh.
I don't know what that means, but my best friend who is actually a therapist, she knows, and that's how she told me, but I'll ask her later.
Okay.
Great.
Oh.
Maybe
This
we
will
can have her on the
continue.
show.
Oh,
That's
here,
right.
LGBTQIA is lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer and or questioning,
Oh, cool.
intersex, and asexual or ally.
Wow.
I thought
Yeah.
Ally was a place you paid your car note to, Ally
Like
Bank.
Ally
but
Bank.
Anyway.
Yes. Ally Financial.
Yeah.
Okay.
But okay.
That's our
Well, there
our
you have it,
financial
ladies and
literacy.
gentlemen.
We'll
That's
talk
what it
about
is.
that.
Right there you
Yeah.
go.
Another
It's all
time.
about educating. I
Yeah.
love that our platform is to speak,
Mhm.
to have these conversations, to educate, to bring awareness. That's what this is all about.
Yes.
Just-
And
yes.
as we transition, TK, I want to bring
Yeah.
in our TK's motivational moments author, mother, motivational speaker, TK Owens.
Aw, thank you. I always want to end things on a positive note. And I'm just going to go off of the energy and everything that Tony has brought to us, Cindy, all of you guys. I just say with May being Mental Health Awareness Month, we take it so serious. And so I want to share with you a good friend of mine. His name is Royce Morgan. I follow him on social media. If you don't follow him, he sends some great inspirations, some great quotes that just get you on your day. And I want to share something that he posted just the other day. And he quotes, and let me say this once again, his name is Royce Morgan on Instagram. Okay. So depression is real. Bipolar disorder is real. Mental instability is real. Please know that everyone you deal with isn't always the 100% person you think they are. Life happens, and it happens fast. Pain comes in many shapes, forms, and fashions. Be there for your friends, family, and your loved ones. It isn't easy to admit when they are having trouble. It isn't easy to express when they are feeling lost. So it's our duty to be available, be loving, be understanding, be patient, be encouraging, and be enlightening. But don't be judgmental. Spread awareness, be active, save a life. And that is my quote for everyone. Please, please, please let this stay with you. Take everything from tonight's show and just remember that. And in all that we do, be kind.
Thank you so much, TK Owens. Friends and family, thank you again so much for watching another episode of Talk Miami. If you like the show, send us an email about the topics you want us to discuss, want us to chat about. We would really, really love to hear what you guys thought about tonight's episode because, again, we were so inspired. Thank you again to Tony Richardson. Thank you to Will Smith's dad bod. Thank you for D. Wade and his inspirational journey with him and his daughter. And we will all see you next week where Diva B brings the next Talk Miami episode.
And thanks to the toilet paper.
All right, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye, everybody.